Hey everyone, welcome back to another review. Today we're taking a look at the Vitae Sinraptor. But before we get started, over the last few days this channel has picked up a ton of new subscribers. So thank you for all the support, and for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome aboard. And if you're watching this review and you're not yet subscribed and you're liking what you're seeing, hit that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. So getting back to this figure right here, if you've never heard of Vitae, it really doesn't matter anymore because unfortunately Vitae is out of business. So let's take a moment to toast Vitae. Vitae wasn't around for a long time, but I really like that Giganotosaurus that put them on the map. They were going too soon, so to you, Vitae. Now, if you're wondering what happened to Vitae, Rebor provided an explanation of what happened to them. I'll leave a link in the description to the Dinosaur Toy Forum where Rebor put up a statement of what happened to this company. It's actually quite sad, so maybe the artist will recover and we'll see some of his sculpts pop up in the future. Alright, so getting back to the Sinraptor here. What is a Sinraptor? Even though it has raptor in its name, it is not a dromaeosaur. It's not related to Deinonychus or Velociraptor. It's actually a Metriacanthosaurid, which are distantly related to Allosaurs. Sinraptor is from the late Jurassic period of China. It was a large theropod dinosaur, and since we're talking about size, let's do a couple quick measurements. This figure is just a hair over 8.5 inches long from the tip of the tail to the tip of the snout, and pretty much 3 inches ran the dot to the top of those spines, the top of the head. So Sinraptor was about 29 feet long, so I'll put this figure somewhere in the 140 scale range. Now, there is some debate that the holotype of Sinraptor is a subadult and that it actually could get larger, but it just depends on, what paleontologist is reviewing the fossil. These size estimates are always changing on these animals. As you can see, this figure is sculpted in a bipedal position, and this figure balances really, really well. You see on, other companies that try to do this, the feet are usually a little bit oversized, and those toes are usually splayed out that have extra support. But when you look at this model right here, you can see the feet are very well proportioned, and the toes really aren't splayed at all. And even the back foot right here, it's really only like rested on these two toes, and it balances really, really well. Has a lot of nice weight distribution on it. I mean, it's just, I wish more companies could pull this off with the, proportionately sized feet and not have the toes completely splayed out. I think this just looks very natural right here. So very, very well balanced model. Now, the coloration on this figure is pretty bland. It's just mostly different shades of brown, but this coloration is very important if you're trying to find this figure. We'll get into that a little bit later on when we get into the comparisons. Now, you can see there's just all different shades of brown on here, highlighted by these black stripes along the tail and legs and back right here. And, it's not the brightest coloration, but I think it works on this model. I would have liked to see a little bit of a, bright flash of color on here, but you know what? This paint scheme is okay by me. All right, let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure. Starting with the head, you can see the eye is painted in black. Now, there is a little white dot on there to give it that wet look, but you still kind of get that effect if a light is shining on it. So I think that is kind of pointless in my eyes. I'd rather just the eye actually have a pupil painted in it instead of just that light reflection right here. You can see the skull really isn't that shrink wrapped. You can see a little bit of the inorbital fenestra right there, and the teeth are nicely sculpted and painted. And the mouth right here, and this figure does have an articulated jaw. It doesn't close completely flush. I always say at Papo are the masters of the articulated jaw, but the jaw on this one is okay. It opens up. If you open up too far, the gums actually pop out. You can see where they will slide back in right here on the figure. So you don't want to open it up too far. Right about there is the max you want to open the jaw without seeing the gum attachment. And you can see the figure has a nice row of spikes starting at the top of the head, going all the way down the back, all the way down to the very tip of the tail. Now, there's not a lot of scales sculpted on this figure. The most amount of scales I can find on here are sculpted along the bottom jaw. Over the rest of the figure, it's all just lines and creases and skin fold. But I think it looks pretty well. The figure has a really nice feel to it in hand, and I can never figure out what type of material Vitae uses. They're plastic is pretty rigid. It has a little bit of a give to it, but when you really run your fingernail across it, it almost feels like a rubber coated plastic. I really just can't put my finger on it what type of material they use, but it's definitely very unique. And going down to the arms, you can see the arms are well sculpted. The claws are painted in black, and there's a little bit of a black dry brushing over the digits. And going down to the legs, you can see the legs are very well sculpted. A lot of nice muscle definition. Man, my camera does not like this model. It keeps going out of focus. I just think it's all that skin folds are just really messing with the focus on this camera. So going down to the feet, you can see the feet are painted in black, and like I said, they are not oversized. The toes aren't splayed out. The feet are really great looking. I love the balance on this model. And then going down to the tail right here, you can see it has a very nice muscular tail base, and the whole figure, all in all, is sculpted really well. All right, let's move on with some comparisons. Here are a couple figures that Vitae did produce. This is their Chalantiosaurus. I think I'm saying it right. And this one, for the life of me right now, I don't remember how to pronounce. I just know it begins with a Z. So I'm just going to call it Jim for now. So Vitae, like I said, was not around for a long time. They produced just 8 few figures. Some of them were like higher end statues. And then there was some, more affordable figures. These 3 right here were part of the few affordable figures that they released. And they released this gorgeous looking Giganotosaurus, which I have right now. It's boxed away right now. I didn't feel like digging it out for comparisons, but I'm definitely going to review their Giganotosaurus in the future. That is probably one of my favorite Giganotosaurus figures of all time. It's just a really impressive piece, so I will be doing a review of that in the future. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, Vitae is no longer in business, so if you're trying to track down these figures, it's going to be kind of hard. There are still some on eBay, but the problem is these figures are heavily knocked off. There are a lot of bootlegs of these figures floating around right now, and the easiest way to tell if they are bootlegs is, number one, the price. If they're outrageously cheap, they're probably bootlegs, and the paint schemes on them, especially on the Sinraptor. The paint scheme is very similar to the official one right here, except it does not have that striping. And if you look at the Chalantiosaurus, the bootleg on that one does not have the blue stripes on it whatsoever, and the Giganotosaurus is just this ugly green coloration. So if you are looking for these figures, just do your research, try to ask for current in-hand pictures, and hopefully you will be able to get your hands on some of these official figures. All right, next up for comparison are some relatives of Sinraptor. Here is the distantly related Allosaurus. This is the Safari Ltd. Excellent Allosaurus, and here are some other Metriacanthosaurids. Here is actually Metriacanthosaurus. This is the Collectae one right here. And this last comparison is Yangchuanosaurus. This is the PNSO Yangchuanosaurus that does not like standing if it's not on its base. Let me just hold it off to the side right here. I absolutely love this Yangchuanosaurus. So it's really nice you can display all these other Metriacanthosaurids with this Sinraptor. So final thoughts on this figure. There are not a lot of Sinraptor figures out there. Actually, the only other one is the old Carnegie Collection Sinraptor. So if you like adding obscure dinosaur figures to your collection, you cannot go wrong with this Vitae Sinraptor. The only small issues I have with it is that the eye is painted completely black, and I do not like that little white dot in the middle to simulate reflection. The black is actually glossy anyway, so if a light was shining on it, you'd get that dot on there naturally. And I just kind of wish there was more scale detail on the body of this figure. It's just a lot of folds and wrinkles. Kind of just wish there was some scale texture on there. But other than that, it's a really nice, well-sculpted Sinraptor figure. So I do, recommend it. I think when I actually got this figure in, I think I paid around like $20 for it. I was looking on eBay. Seems like, because Vitae's not around anymore, the price of these figures are going up. So I would not wait long if you want to add these to your collection before just the whole market is just bootlegs of this figure. I think I started seeing these going for like around $30 now on eBay. And like I said, just, be careful ordering these figures. There are a lot of bootlegs of the Vitae figures out there now. Just ask for, current in-hand pictures and see if they match up to the officials. And since I know a few of you are probably going to ask me in the comments, the beer I was using, the Toast Vitae, is from Revival Brewing. They are a local brewery in Rhode Island. So if you're ever visiting tiny little Rhode Island, it's pretty easy to get to. It's right in Cranston. This is a very good sour ale. I like sour ales, and I absolutely love the artwork on the can because obviously dinosaurs. So like I said, if you're ever visiting Rhode Island, definitely check them out. So that will do it for the review. I do have something new coming in at the end of this week, so look for a review on a new figure sometime this weekend. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.